Difference between progress and advance. Progress refers to gradual and natural improvement over time. It often emphasizes the process of moving forward step by step. For example, when someone studies daily and slowly becomes better at English, we say they are making progress. Advance, on the other hand, suggests a deliberate or significant step forward, often as the result of effort, research, or innovation. It highlights an achievement, a breakthrough, or a movement to a new stage. For example, a major discovery in medical science is considered an advance. Examples: progress. The child has made steady progress in reading over the past year. Despite many challenges, the project is showing good progress. Advance. The recent advances in artificial intelligence have changed the way we work. The army advanced into the enemy territory at dawn. In short, progress equals continuous development, gradual improvement, the process itself. Advance equals a notable step forward, an achievement, or a breakthrough. Difference between big and large. Big is a more casual and informal word that refers to size, importance, or degree. It's commonly used in everyday conversation and can describe both physical size and abstract concepts. For example, when talking about a house or a problem, we often use big. Large, on the other hand, is more formal and precise, typically referring to physical dimensions, quantities, or scale. It's often used in formal writing, business contexts, or when being more specific about measurements. For example, when describing clothing sizes or data sets, large is more appropriate. Examples: big. The kids were excited to see the big elephant at the zoo. She has a big heart and always helps others in need. Large. The company ordered a large quantity of materials for production. Please select a large size if you prefer a looser fit. In short, big equals informal, casual, used for both physical and abstract concepts. Emotional emphasis. Large equals formal, precise, primarily for physical dimensions and quantities. Neutral tone. Difference between happy and joyful. Happy is a general term for feeling pleased or content. It describes a positive emotional state that can range from mild satisfaction to strong pleasure. It's the most common word for expressing positive feelings. Joyful, on the other hand, suggests a deeper, more intense feeling of happiness, often with a sense of celebration or elation. It implies great delight and often comes from meaningful experiences or achievements. Examples: I'm happy with my new job and the friendly colleagues. The children were happy to play in the park all afternoon. Joyful. The couple felt joyful on their wedding day surrounded by family. Her face was joyful when she received the scholarship news. In short, happy equals general positive feeling, contentment, everyday satisfaction. Joyful equals intense happiness, deep delight, celebratory emotion. Difference between fast and quick. Fast typically refers to speed over time or distance, especially continuous movement or action. It's often used for vehicles, animals, or processes that maintain high speed consistently. Quick, on the other hand, emphasizes brevity of time or immediate response. It suggests something happens in a short amount of time or with little delay, often referring to actions that are completed rapidly. Examples: fast. The fast train reached the destination in just 2 hours. She's a fast runner who wins most of her races. Quick, please give me a quick answer before the meeting starts. He took a quick look at the document and signed it. In short, fast equals high speed, continuous rapid movement, velocity focused. Quick equals brief time, immediate response, short duration focused. Difference between smart and intelligent. Smart is an informal term that describes someone who is clever, practical, and able to make good decisions quickly. It often implies street smarts, common sense, or the ability to solve problems efficiently in everyday situations. Intelligent, on the other hand, is more formal and refers to the capacity for learning, reasoning, and understanding complex concepts. It often relates to academic ability, analytical thinking, or deep comprehension of abstract ideas. Examples: smart. That was a smart move to invest in the company early. She's smart enough to avoid getting into trouble. Intelligent. The professor is highly intelligent and speaks 5 languages fluently. The research requires intelligent analysis of complex data patterns. In short, smart equals practical cleverness, common sense, efficient problem solving. Intelligent equals formal capacity for learning, reasoning, academic ability. Difference between beautiful and pretty. Beautiful describes something that has exceptional aesthetic appeal or creates a deep sense of admiration. It suggests grandeur, elegance, or profound visual impact that can be emotionally moving. Pretty, on the other hand, refers to something that is pleasing to look at in a more casual or surface level way. It often describes charm, cuteness, or attractiveness that is pleasant but not necessarily profound or overwhelming. Examples: beautiful. The sunset over the mountains was absolutely beautiful tonight. She wore a beautiful dress that everyone admired at the wedding. Pretty, the garden has many pretty flowers blooming this spring. That's a pretty necklace you're wearing today. In short, beautiful equals exceptional aesthetic appeal, profound visual impact, deeply moving. Pretty equals pleasant attractiveness, charming appearance, surface level appeal. Difference between angry and mad. Angry is a more formal and standard term that describes the emotion of displeasure, hostility, or rage in response to a perceived wrong or injustice. It's widely accepted in both formal and informal contexts and clearly communicates strong negative feelings. Mad can mean angry in informal American English, but it traditionally means insane or crazy in British English. This can create confusion, so it's often better to use angry for clarity. Examples: angry. The customers were angry about the delayed flight and poor service. She was angry when she discovered someone had stolen her bike. Mad, don't get mad at me for telling you the truth. He was mad that his favorite team lost the championship game. In short, angry equals formal standard term for displeasure. Universally understood, clear meaning. Mad equals informal American usage, potentially confusing, traditionally means insane. Difference between tired and exhausted. Tired describes a normal state of fatigue that comes from physical or mental activity, lack of sleep, or routine exertion. It suggests you need rest but can usually continue functioning with some effort. Exhausted, on the other hand, indicates extreme tiredness or complete depletion of energy. It suggests you are so worn out that you can barely function and desperately need rest or recovery time. Examples: tired. I'm tired after the long work day, but can still cook dinner. The students look tired after studying for 3 hours straight. Exhausted after running the marathon. She was completely exhausted and could barely walk. The new parents were exhausted from weeks of sleepless nights. In short, tired equals normal fatigue, manageable tiredness, still somewhat functional. Exhausted equals extreme tiredness, complete energy depletion, barely functional. Difference between old and ancient. Old is a general term that describes something that has existed for a relatively long time compared to similar things, or someone who has lived many years. It's used for everyday contexts and doesn't specify an exact time period. Ancient, on the other hand, refers to something from the very distant past, typically thousands of years ago, or relating to historical civilizations and eras that are no longer in existence. Examples: old. My grandfather is old, but still very active and healthy. This old house needs some repairs, but has good bones. Ancient archaeologists discovered ancient pottery from a lost civilization. The ancient Greeks made significant contributions to philosophy and science. In short, old equals general term for aged, relatively long existence, everyday usage. Ancient equals very distant past, historical civilizations, thousands of years old. Difference between scary and frightening. Scary is an informal, everyday word that describes something that causes fear or nervousness. It's commonly used in casual conversation and can range from mildly unsettling to very frightening. It's often used for things like movies, stories, or situations that give you chills. Frightening is more formal and intense, describing something that causes genuine fear or terror. It suggests a more serious or immediate threat that provokes strong fear responses. Examples: scary. That horror movie was too scary for me to watch alone. The dark basement looks scary with all those shadows. Frightening. The frightening news about the accident shocked the entire community. It was frightening to hear footsteps in the empty building at night. In short, scary equals informal, mild to moderate fear, casual usage, entertainment context. Frightening equals formal, genuine terror, serious fear, immediate threat implication. Difference between funny and hilarious. Funny describes something that causes amusement, laughter, or entertainment. It's a general term that can range from mildly amusing to quite entertaining. It's used for jokes, situations, or people that make you smile or chuckle. Hilarious, on the other hand, describes something extremely funny that causes uncontrollable laughter or great amusement. It suggests comedy that is so entertaining, it's almost overwhelming in its humor. Examples: funny. The comedian told a funny joke that made everyone smile. It was funny when the cat got scared by its own reflection. Hilarious. The movie was so hilarious that people were laughing throughout the entire theater. His hilarious impression of the teacher had everyone in tears from laughing. In short, funny equals general amusement, mild to moderate humor, causes smiles or chuckles. Hilarious equals extremely amusing, uncontrollable laughter, overwhelming comedy. Difference between sad and depressed. Sad is a normal human emotion that describes temporary feelings of unhappiness, sorrow, or disappointment in response to specific situations or events. It's a natural reaction that usually improves with time or when circumstances change. Depressed, on the other hand, can refer to a more serious, persistent state of low mood that may not have a clear cause and doesn't easily improve. In clinical contexts, it refers to a mental health condition that requires professional attention. Examples: sad. I felt sad when my best friend moved to another city. The sad ending of the movie made many people cry. Depressed. She has been feeling depressed for months and decided to see a counselor. The long winter months often make people feel depressed and lethargic. In short, sad equals temporary emotion, normal response to events, usually improves with time. Depressed equals persistent low mood, maybe clinical condition, requires professional help. Difference between rich and wealthy. Rich typically refers to having a lot of money or valuable possessions at a particular time. It often describes someone's current financial status or income level and can be more temporary or fluctuating. Wealthy, on the other hand, suggests not just having money, but having accumulated significant assets and financial security over time. It implies long-term financial stability, often including investments, property, and established sources of income. Examples: rich. He became rich overnight when his startup was sold to a major company. The rich businessman drives expensive cars and wears designer clothes. The wealthy family has owned properties and businesses for generations. She comes from a wealthy background with trust funds and inherited assets. In short, rich equals having lots of money currently. High income can be temporary. Wealthy equals accumulated assets over time, long-term financial security, established wealth. Difference between thin and skinny. Thin is a neutral descriptive term that refers to someone or something that has little width, depth, or body fat. It's generally considered polite and can be used in both positive and neutral contexts. Skinny, on the other hand, often carries a more negative connotation, suggesting someone is excessively thin or underweight. It can sound critical or harsh when describing people, though it can be neutral when describing objects. Examples: thin. The thin book fits easily in your backpack for travel reading. She has a naturally thin build and eats a healthy diet. The skinny jeans were popular in fashion a few years ago. After being sick, he looked quite skinny and needed to gain weight. In short, thin equals neutral description, little width or body fat, generally polite. Skinny equals often negative connotation. Excessively thin can sound critical. Difference between strong and powerful. Strong typically refers to physical strength, durability, or the ability to withstand force or pressure. It describes the capability to exert physical force or resist being broken, damaged, or overcome. Powerful, on the other hand, refers to having great strength, influence, or control over others or situations. It often relates to authority, political influence, or the ability to make significant impact or changes. Examples: strong. The strong athlete could lift heavy weights with ease. We need strong materials to build a bridge that will last decades. The powerful politician could influence major policy decisions. The storm was so powerful it knocked down trees and power lines. In short, strong equals physical strength, durability, ability to withstand force. Powerful equals great influence or control, authority, ability to create impact. Difference between small and little. Small is an objective, neutral term that describes size, referring to something that is not large in dimension, amount, or extent. It's used in formal contexts and scientific descriptions where precise measurement matters. Little, on the other hand, is more subjective and emotional, often carrying connotations of affection, endearment, or sometimes insignificance. It's commonly used in informal speech and can express feelings beyond just size. Examples: small. The small apartment has one bedroom and a compact kitchen. Scientists discovered a small planet in a distant solar system. The little puppy was so cute playing in the garden. Don't worry about that little mistake you made earlier. In short, small equals objective size description, neutral tone, formal and scientific usage. Little equals subjective and emotional, often affectionate, informal speech. Difference between hot and warm. Hot describes high temperature that can be uncomfortable or even dangerous to touch or experience. It suggests intense heat that might cause discomfort, sweating, or the need to cool down immediately. Warm, on the other hand, describes pleasant, moderate heat that feels comfortable and cozy. It suggests a gentle, agreeable temperature that is neither hot nor cold. Examples: hot. The coffee is too hot to drink right now. Let it cool down. It was a hot summer day with temperatures reaching 95 degrees. Warm. The warm sunshine felt wonderful on our faces during the picnic. She put on a warm sweater before going outside in the cool evening. In short, hot equals high temperature, potentially uncomfortable, intense heat. Warm equals pleasant, moderate heat, comfortable and cozy temperature. Difference between cold and cool. Cold describes low temperature that causes discomfort, shivering, or the need for extra warmth. It suggests unpleasant chilliness that might require heating, warm clothes, or shelter from the temperature. Cool, on the other hand, describes pleasantly low temperature that feels refreshing and comfortable. It suggests a mild, agreeable temperature that provides relief without causing discomfort. Examples: cold. It's so cold outside that we need to wear heavy coats and gloves. The cold wind made everyone hurry inside for warmth. Cool. The cool evening breeze was perfect for our outdoor dinner. The cool water in the swimming pool felt refreshing on the hot day. In short, cold equals uncomfortably low temperature, causes shivering, requires extra warmth. Cool equals pleasantly low temperature, refreshing and comfortable. Difference between good and great. Good describes something that meets expectations, is satisfactory, or has positive qualities without being exceptional. It indicates adequate quality or performance that is acceptable and pleasing. Great, on the other hand, describes something that is excellent, outstanding, or significantly above average. It suggests exceptional quality, remarkable achievement, or something that exceeds expectations considerably. Examples: good. The restaurant serves good food at reasonable prices. She did a good job on the presentation and received positive feedback. Great. The concert was great and everyone talked about it for weeks. He's a great teacher who inspires all his students to excel. In short, good equals satisfactory quality, meets expectations, acceptable and pleasing. Great equals excellent quality, exceeds expectations, outstanding and remarkable. Difference between bad and terrible. Bad describes something that is not good, unsatisfactory, or has negative qualities, but it's still manageable or tolerable. It indicates poor quality or unfavorable conditions that are disappointing but not devastating. Terrible, on the other hand, describes something that is extremely bad, awful, or causing great distress. It suggests something so poor or harmful that it's shocking, devastating, or nearly unbearable. Examples: bad. The weather was bad today with constant light rain and gray clouds. I had a bad day at work with several minor problems. Terrible. The terrible earthquake destroyed many buildings and caused widespread panic. The food at that restaurant was terrible and made several people sick. In short, bad equals unsatisfactory but manageable. Poor quality, disappointing. Terrible equals extremely bad, awful and shocking, devastating or unbearable.